Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, here with some special guests, some special friends here. Big day. That was, NFL Sunday just got completely dominated by the bombshell news in college football. Lincoln Riley leaving Norman, Oklahoma, leaving the University of Oklahoma to head to USC. It's not going to LSU. He wasn't lying, Nino, about
No.
being the next head coach of the LSU Tigers, right? So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to pass it over to our OU buddies here real quick, but I first and foremost want to give a shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. BUSR, the official sponsor, official sports book, official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Hit up busr.com/fanatic. You can try to tap in on that Thanksgiving special we had where we're matching $10, but also that Sports 100 FP, 100% free play, 100% matching on all deposits within the first 24 hours. Hit up busr.com/fanatic. I wonder if they had any odds on Lincoln. Anyway, Seth, how we feeling, brother?
Man,
This is a
to
safe
tell
place.
yeah, to tell I'm actually not too, down or down in the dumps or anything. Um it's definitely obviously it came out of left field for it to be USC. Obviously the rumors were swirling about LSU and whatnot for the better part of the last week or two. But even that I wasn't looking into those rumors. People would ask me about those things, about what I thought about it, and I was just like, I'm not even like checking up on updates because that's how much I don't buy into them. Um, but yeah, obviously, there's been talks going on with Lincoln and USC probably for longer than most people are privy to. So, and it is what it is as far as that goes. That's just how the business side of it goes. Those talks are always usually going on behind the scenes, before the public finds out about them, like a la the OU Texas move to the SEC. That kind of stuff was going on way before talks of that. So, but as far as this with Lincoln actually, finally making it official and you know piecing out of Norman, yeah, it's definitely surprising. But as far as like how I feel about where it leaves OU, I'm not I'm not worried, to be honest. And I think a lot of that is my faith in Joe Castiglione. I mean, the man hasn't hired a bad OU coach yet. I mean, albeit he only, his first hire was Bob Stoops, and that guy stuck around for, whatever it was, 17 years. And then the next guy was Lincoln Riley, who was already on the staff for the last 2 years of the Stoops era. But um, I mean, and you just look at a lot of the other programs that are going on at OU right now, the sports teams. There's been some pretty good hires. Porter Moser looks like it's going to be probably a pretty good hire for the Ben's basketball team. So I just got a lot of faith in Josie, and really I just got a lot of faith in the history of the University of Oklahoma in football. Like there's a lot of head coaches in its history that have had not just like okay success, like they've had some all time great teams, great runs. So it's almost like I'm just kind of in a. I guess I'll have to see OU actually hit that kind of like take that really low dip for me to actually believe it's going to happen because I feel like whoever they hire, as long as it's not Cliff Kingsbury, and we'll get into that more, but as long as it's not Cliff Kingsbury,
Oh,
I
we
feel
are going
like
to get into
it's going to
that.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel
We're
like
good.
it's going to be a pretty
Coach
good,
Bro.
yeah.
So
But yeah, that's my thought, my initial thought on that.
I appreciate that, Seth. And Jeremiah, I see your super chat. We're going to get to your super chat here in a second. And I apologize. I did not give proper introductions of my guests right off the bat. So you guys all know Nino's Corner. Please go subscribe to Nino's Corner on YouTube. Pause the video. Do whatever you got to do right now. Open up another tab. Go check him out. He just dropped a video a couple hours ago, right, Nino,
Yeah.
on the whole move and what it means, regarding Texas, all those things. So all you guys that are following Texas content, if you follow me, you need to be following Nino. That's the way this works. We got our brothers down here, Chris and Seth, who you guys are already familiar with from the Horns Down podcast. People have been waiting to hear from Chris. All right. And so the chat's been blowing up. So, Chris, um, As I put Jeremiah's super chat on here, I'm gonna let you address the audience.
Oh, okay. So today I was on the couch chilling. My girlfriend, she's an OSU fan. She was black basking in the glory of what they did last night, and I was telling her, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with it. It's okay. It stings. You guys still suck. Your defense is a fraud. I pick up my phone and as I'm laughing, I look down and I see a Lincoln Riley to SC, and I said, this no. But as I put my phone down, I lift up my bowl of Chipotle, that beautiful chicken in that bowl, that double chicken with the rice and the cheese. It dropped because I was like, there's no way. There's no way that this is happening right now. When I say I was devastated, I was devastated. I told my girlfriend, I said, look, babe, you got to go to the other room. I can't look. I need to be alone. I need alone time right now. Like, this hurt my soul. It hurt my core. I'm sorry, Seth. I agree with you. I love everything you said, but let's go down the list. First of all, Nick, if I'm correct, Nick blasted Lincoln for his dry brisket. I defended that man right then and there. Okay, I defended that man. Lincoln kept Mike Stoops on way too long. I defended that man. Okay, okay. Lincoln put Spencer out there by himself. I defended Spencer and I defended Lincoln's decision to go with Caleb. I defended that. Four. After the Baylor game, no, after the Kansas game, the Baylor game, and even this OSU game, I still defended his play calling, and I feel robbed as a fan, and I feel betrayed. And I'm not even a Thunder fan, but now I see how Thunder fans felt with Kevin Durant. I really do. He's a cupcake. He's soft. He wanted no part of the SEC. This really pisses me off. All right, this hurts me to the core. And I'm sorry to say it, but I'm venting right now. Lincoln
Okay.
Riley, if you can see me right now, I hope you know that it was my girlfriend who kept me from getting in my car and making that 5-minute trip down there to the stadium because I was upset. Y'all don't understand how upset I am. I was like, this is bullshit. Excuse my language. I was like, this is bullshit. I
Let it out,
was
brother.
like, are you kidding me? Now I'm having to. I can't even scroll down my timeline on anything, Instagram or Twitter. Decommit. This coach leaving, that coach leaving, transfer portal. This player mad, this player upset, this player shocked. It's like, God, what are we gonna do? Are we Texas now?
Hold
Are we
on.
Texas?
Hold on.
That's it. That's all I have. I'm beyond upset. I'm distraught. I'm hurt right now. I feel betrayed. Like
Chris,
I told one of my friends today. I told him, I said, look, I've had breakups in the past. Didn't rob me of any feelings. Didn't rob me of a good night. Didn't rob me of any sleep. This right here, I won't go to sleep tonight. I won't. Said you're gonna have to come over, man. We just gonna have to talk football all night because bro, I'm in a dark place right now. I don't know what Lincoln is doing. And now Bob Stoops is coming back. I feel so betrayed. I feel so betrayed. I was like, for sure, surely Lincoln ain't gonna leave a cush job, a great administration, and then that damn office that he got. I was like, boy, what you doing? You see the office? Come. And now people want to tweet at me and say, "Oh, I heard y'all getting Tom Herman. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that."
yo, some of the names that people have been throwing around have been wild. But let's start with I do want to get into some of the candidates, but I want to address some of the things that Chris said, and I appreciate your heartfelt, vent session, brother. I know what it's like to be frustrated, man. We've all been here, in different ways, I should say, in different ways. One of the things I want to kind of bounce off you though is how can you just brush off the fact that there's been smoke about this? Maybe not him going to SC, but this has been going on for months. I mean, people have been talking about Lincoln even going back to last year, if you want to go back to when before the Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy,
Cowboys.
right? Like, let's not forget the Dallas Cowboys. That there was smoke there. How legitimate that is, I don't know if that's just things that people were putting out there, but I just keep feeling when your name keeps coming up over and over and over again, at what point do you start to worry about where there's smoke, there's fire, Chris?
So here's my thing. It seems like the rumors, and Seth and I talked about this plenty of times, and we just brushed it off. It seems like the rumors where people were saying that Lincoln had some problems with different people around the program pertaining to the Spencer problem. I mean, to the whole Spencer Rattler issue. Uh, I mean, things have came out today that it makes sense, but it's still kind of shocking with the fact that there are multiple reports talking about how Lincoln and Grinch have not even spoken in weeks.
Wow.
There have been things coming out as far as he was not fond of the move to the SEC. He wanted to have a bigger budget. He wanted to have recruiting analysts. He wanted to get down and dirty. He wanted the whole 9 yards. OU was like, no, kind of hesitant on it. There's been rumblings as far as just he's been unresponsive to a lot of people in and around the program. And so a lot of people are coming out. You're seeing big names like Gabe Eichert and a lot of different, alumni of his football program basically come out and say, I'm not shocked at all. So it wasn't the money. It wasn't the opportunities that he had elsewhere. It was just the fact that you look at everything in and around OU itself with recruiting's at an all-time high. You're not still at all. You're looking at Joe C. Joe C is, if not the best, and one of the best ADs in the country. Okay, you've seen what look at what he's done for us in basketball now. We went from mediocre, middle of the line, kind of getting stale to now with Porter Moser, you're saying, hey, maybe 2 or 3 years we have a plan with him. So you're banking on him to make another great hire. But just the relationship that he had with Joe Castiglione, it just makes no sense. So it's just like this move to SC is coming out of left field because if you're asking me, you're saying, Chris, hey, you get your pick. You could pick either USC or LSU. I go with LSU. Better talent base, going to be more geared towards football. Yes, you're going to be in the SEC, but you're going to be able to do everything. You're going to have a bigger budget. All the things that you didn't have at OU, supposedly, you're going to have there. But now you're going to SC, who is there's a team down in Austin that I'm going to say both of those teams are kind of in a rebuilding mode. Not to take a side, but I mean,
no, we are.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
I'm comfortable saying that.
And I would just say that it's just shocking that this happened. But to hear those things, to answer your question directly, pretty much I'll summarize this. Now I'll pass the mic to you guys. It's not the offers, it's not anything, because to me, he goes out there, he makes 12 mil a year at USC. He's still, after taxes or whatever, I'm not a mathematician, but after taxes, I can tell you this, he's probably going to make close to what he was making here anyways. But just the fact that this happened, it does add fuel to that fire. I was never worried until it happened. So I guess that's how I would answer your question directly.
Well, so I want to shift this to Nino, because the whole LSU versus USC thing, Nino, that's your region, right?
Yeah.
Where you were raised. You're a Louisiana boy through and through, and I want you to touch on kind of the differences when these coaches start to analyze where they should look for jobs, right? Like at LSU.
Yeah, so basically, man, LSU is its own animal, since they are the only major program in that state, right? So they can pick and choose the top 15 or 20 players from that state, and that's easy for them, right? And then they'll fill out the last 5, maybe 7 kids from Houston or Georgia. But USC is a different animal. Lincoln Riley has the potential to go to USC in a weak Pac-12, and his only competition there is going to be Oregon. And if he gets that sleeping giant back up again, it's all over for the Pac-12. He is going to kill it there. He's going to recruit really well there because there's so much talent. I was stationed out out there from 12 to 16. And you're talking about kids, man. Watts, Compton, Gardenia, Hawthorne, Long Beach. It is so much talent within a 20-mile radius out there that he's going to have his pick of the litter of any kid that he wants there. Vegas also, right? Fresno. I mean, anywhere in that whole state. So once he gets it moving out there, he is going to recruit his butt off. There's only one competition when it comes to, actually football out there, and that's Oregon. I don't think honestly, he'll go there and be the best coach in the Pac-12 day one. Easy. He's a better coach than the guy up at Oregon, Cristobal. Mm-hmm. He's a better coach than Shaw. He's a better coach than every other coach in that conference. In the big, who do you think's a better coach than
I mean, Lincoln, right off the top of my head, Kyle Whittingham and Chip Kelly, I'd say are at least at that same. Kyle Whittingham.
You wouldn't have said that, Seth. If you were your head coach.
Knock it off. Come on, Seth.
No, I definitely. Seth. If you watch games with me this season, you know that I've been pointing the finger at Lincoln Riley since the last season. Like all the problems
I've seen. You think Chip Kelly's a better coach than Lincoln Riley? Are you kidding me?
He's more accomplished. Hell yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of folks who are more accomplished because they're older, and they've been in the game a little bit longer. But Lincoln Riley is a better coach than Chip Kelly is.
Seth,
he's a better coach.
Seth, just admit you're mad. Just admit you're
mad.
It'll be easier you admit you're mad, bro.
We'll revisit this conversation in. I'll even give it 4 years, but probably 2.
Give him 2 years.
Can't hold Lincoln's clipboard right now. You know that. Come on, Seth.
UCLA.
Thank you for the super chat.
UCLA had their way with USC. This is what, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but USC's 4-6. Everybody's had their way with USC this year. So USC's a nobody right now.
And yet they've got the pick of the litter at recruiting.
No, they don't. USC hasn't been recruiting well. They haven't been doing anything in recruiting. USC has been. Let me pull up the stats right here because they have not been recruiting well. I think we all know that. I think Lincoln's going to bring that over there. That's what's going to be so shocking about this is that, Lincoln going to the Pac-12 is going to be amazing for him because it's going to be an easier schedule for him. He's going to run through that conference in about 3 years. Lincoln
means he has a direct path to the playoffs.
He has a direct path to the playoffs. Lincoln goes to the SEC, right? Mm-hmm. It's OU. It's going to be Georgia. It's going to be Alabama. Ole Miss is doing her thing now. We talk shit about A&M, but of course they're going 8-4 every year. They're going to beat one lucky team a year, right? So even Kentucky's halfway decent this year. So it's so much more competition in the SEC than it is in the Pac-12. He's going to have an easy run. I'm talking. It's going to be easy, folks. Y'all know this. It's going to be so
agrees
easy.
With Seth.
There's
some people out there.
Well, the thing is here is because the thing is Lincoln Riley by himself can outcoach just about anybody one-on-one, but we haven't seen Lincoln Riley put together a dynamite staff. You could track it since Lincoln Riley was named head coach. His teams have progressively played worse and worse, just as an overall. And he was just fortunate enough that his first 2 years he had a Heisman Trophy winner, first round pick in Baker Mayfield, and the same exact thing with Kyler Murray. But then it just as the program became more, as his fingertips grew more and more all over the program, it showed that the guys he was surrounding himself with weren't helping him get the job done, and he still has some things to work out on his own with how much control he wants to let go or have of the offense. And that's my biggest problem with him over these last couple of years was that he wouldn't relinquish it. And I mean, yeah, he's got the track record to call it, but at some point you gotta cut your losses and kill your darlings. And I don't see him all of a sudden learning how to put together a dynamite staff. Even look at Steve Sarkisian. At least the staff that he's put together in Texas, I would say is better than, collectively what Lincoln has done on his own. Now, I'm not talking about the guys whoever he inherited, none of those guys, because he inherited a lot from Bob Stoops when he stepped in, and the only guy, the biggest loss, the biggest move he made that he still took too long to make was getting rid of Mike Stoops and Tim Kish, but before that, but I'm just saying, we've seen guys like Kyle Whittingham put together a staff, and then he himself build a program and then maintain that level of power over time. We haven't seen it
Seth,
from Lincoln, so I can say confidently right now that he's higher up on the list than Lincoln.
Hey
look,
Seth. Hey
look.
Chris. Hey Chris. Hey Chris. Give me 1 second. Chris. 1 second on this one. Hey Seth. I kind of agree with you on one thing. Is that Lincoln Riley got blessed with a team that was ready to go. As soon as Stoops left and he retired, he got blessed with a team that was a Big 12 championship team. But he had to keep it going, right? But getting back to your comment about USC and all their talent, okay? Right now, class of 22 is the 67th ranked recruiting class in the country. Last year, they had the 7th ranked class. The year before that, it was the 64th ranked recruiting class in the country. They haven't been getting the talent. They just haven't been getting the talent. And it's going to come to a point. These kids see Lincoln Riley's offense. They see what he does with quarterbacks, right? They're going to see what Caleb Williams is going to do in a USC uniform next year. He's going. I think you guys know that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, let's keep it real. Kids don't commit to the school. They commit to the coach. And I think we all know that. You know, Caleb Williams is from DC. He didn't commit to going to Norman. He committed to getting coached by Lincoln Riley and being in that hell of a system. And we've seen him flourish in the system, albeit that he's had some difficulties this year, but he's a true freshman. What do you expect?
True freshman.
True
that
freshman.
wasn't expected to start. And
yeah, he wasn't expected to start. And he is balled out for a true freshman. You give him another year with Lincoln Riley, which, let's be honest, he's going to have it over there at USC. This kid is going to be all world. And I think you guys know that. I know it. He killed us single-handedly. But he is going to bring a lot of folks over there to USC. Next year's not going to be a year where they're just going to kick down the door. It's not going to happen next year. Get him in 2 or 3 years. That is going to be a freaking monster that is woken up, because that team has been dormant since Pete Carroll left, man. It is what it is. But he's going to get the talent from those kids out of Southern California. He's going to get all those kids to come, because guess what? Mama wants to see her baby play on the weekends, right? She want to see her baby play. She don't want to send her baby from LA or, all the way to Oregon. She can't drive out there to see him every weekend. She don't want to send her baby from LA to Norman. She can't drive to see her baby play every weekend. Lincoln Riley comes there. He's going to have every offensive talent in the surrounding area in that state coming to USC, because those kids want to play for their hometown, man. It just is what it is.
So I was going to jump in and I was going to piggyback what Nick was saying. And I'm going to say this to Seth directly. What Lincoln Riley is about to do to let me premise this with this. Okay. First off, there's not a team that can stay with, if Lincoln's offense is clicking, which we all believe that it will be in the Pac-12, there's not that many defense out there that can keep up with that offense. Okay. Outside of Oregon, outside of a Utah, and from year to year or once every 2 years, a Washington, they're not going to be able to keep up with this offense that he's going to run out there in the Pac-12. And what I wanted to say to Seth was, Lincoln Riley is going to be what Bob Stoops was to the Big 12 when he first came, which is he's going to flip this entire league, this entire conference upside down and force them to go back to what the Pac-12 was even before the Big 12, which was really just true air raid. You haven't seen that. They put a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus on that type of ball right there. So I feel like Lincoln is going to be extremely successful out there, and he just gave himself another path. It was, in my opinion right now, I think that obviously OU is the better job, but for Lincoln, I mean, the question is, do you think Lincoln saw this as a lateral move? I don't think there's any of the personal decision and all the rest of this, and he wanted to take on a new chapter in his life. I just think something is up. There may actually be something to what Stephen was saying, but to think that Lincoln Riley is going to struggle and not be the best coach out there, I don't know. But Mario Cristobal is somebody I'll keep an eye on, because that'd be somebody that I might go after if I'm OU. But
Chris,
go ahead.
let's hold there, because while we have this time together, I want to address that as well. And Everybody hit the like button. There's 545 in here right now. Hit that like button as you guys are watching. Share with a friend. I know we have a lot of people all over the Big 12, all over college football that are chiming in on this news. It's a major story, huge domino to fall. We did a coaching carousel video a little while ago, a few weeks back. We talked about the open jobs at the time, which I think was just like LSU and USC and a couple others. And now it's, Florida with Billy Napier, which completely got swept under the rug, but I think it's actually a good hire.
It's a great hire. It's a great hire.
The Billy Napier thing just completely gets swept under the rug.
Lincoln like, hold my beer.
Shout out to Coach Napier. And it's funny because, Napier was a name that LSU fans kind of scoffed at, and a lot of them were more so on the Lincoln Riley bandwagon and wanting to pursue that type of offensive mind. I would say even more before a Lane Kiffin, who they're more familiar with down there in that region. And now LSU's still open, and we'll see what all these other jobs and what dominoes fall with the other openings. But this is fascinating, as USC really probably the biggest move they've made to really show their blue blood dominance in years, right? Because no one was fired up about Clay Helton, even at the time, everything. And before that, they kind of had whether it was Sark the first time or Lane the first time, they had kind of the Pete Carroll guys in that whole USC fraternity. They've gone outside the fraternity now to poach. They went and got a big dog from another blue blood. That how often does that even happen in college football, where a blue blood poaches from one to the other?
They flexed.
It does.
They really flexed.
Yeah. Hey,
Steve, I mean, the only thing I can think. Oh, go ahead. I
was telling my wife about this. I said, this is very, very rare because, like you guys said, this is a blue blood program, right? And so, I told her this is the equivalent of Kirby Smart leaving Georgia to go to Ohio State, right? I mean, like that's the equivalent of this. You got teams that are blue blood programs that are teams that, just throughout their history, there are teams that are known for winning. Even though USC has been down for a while, we all know blue blood programs, every so often they're going to go down, but guess what? Eventually they're going to pick back up. USC is going to be just fine with Lincoln Riley. The only thing that I was really shocked about is, just like Steven said, you got a blue blood program. Oklahoma is doing good. You guys are running pretty well. You had the loss this weekend. It is what it is. I can't even count this as a bad season for y'all. You started a true freshman quarterback who has to get through his lumps, right? I was saying next year was going to be y'all's year. I was like, man, you about to be, they were tough this year, but next year they're about to be serious, like serious, especially with Caleb Williams, right? But now it's like he leaves and it changes the whole path of that team because, I think we all know Caleb's going with him. I mean, it just makes sense, right?
It may be Spencer. It may be Spencer, man.
Do you think Caleb's going to stay at Norman? If I'm Caleb Williams, this is just my opinion. He's from the DC area. Okay. All right. So I'm a kid from DC. All right. And I was stationed in DC my last assignment for 4 years. I was at the Pentagon. And I've been to Norman and I've been to DC. I've lived in DC. Now I got a chance. Mama can't come see me play anywhere in the weekends. Right. She in DC. I'm in Norman. I'm going to LA, bro. I'm going to LA and get the NIL money. I'm going to LA and be a star. I'm going to LA and do my thing with my head coach that recruited me, who wants me in his system. I don't want to learn another system. I did good this year in this system. Next year, I could be a Heisman front runner in this system. I look at what Kyler did. I look at what Baker did. I could be a Heisman front runner in this system.
Why would
I stay? Huh?
What about Dart?
USC's current start. So
let me slow this.
Well, here, real quick about Caleb Williams. I think his case. I mean, obviously there's probably unless something happened in the last 30 minutes that I just haven't seen on Twitter yet that he announced it already. But if he still hasn't, made his decision one way or another public, the thing about me feeling like he might stick is I think he did have more of a relationship outside of with OU outside of Lincoln. I mean, hell, he and his whole family moved to Norman pretty much when it was when he learned that he wasn't going to play his senior season for due to COVID
DC,
reasons.
yeah.
So they just
Yeah.
his family, his mama is watching all his games right here. I mean,
I'm pretty
they
sure
were hosting
pretty
recruiting parties and everything.
I'm pretty sure that this coaching staff paid for them parents to come down here and live in Norman for this past year.
I mean, that sounds a little dangerous.
No,
I
it
hope
sounds
something
very
like that
it sounds very true. It's like
They
Tua's
handed them
parents
the-
moved to
Somebody blowing the
Tuscaloosa.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
They
just keep
handed
it
to him in
funky,
like a
right?
McDonald's bag or something.
Let's just
I
keep it
don't know
real,
what it
man.
But I just think that with a move like that, it just sounds like coming into this situation, coming into college for him, it was a little bit more. It was a little bit more than just his rapport with Lincoln Riley. So even though obviously that's like probably the number one reason why any quarterback over the last several years has committed to OU is because of Lincoln Riley. It just seems like with the move like that and with how hard he was on the recruiting trail himself, the blog he had going on with Sports Illustrated, the weekly or whatever it was, it just seems like he's kind of more, that to throw out a
Caleb?
OU DNA out there, but like it just sounds like until I see it, I don't see him as a guy who's gonna bolt also. But I mean, I guess I could be surprised
Seth.
more than once.
I don't know, Seth. I think these kids these days realize this isn't Texas. I mean, well, this isn't football in the 1990s and the early 2000s. These kids realize this is a business now. This is a true business. Of course, he's going to go do the blogs. He's probably getting paid for it. Hell yeah, I do it too. This is a business now. This is a 7-figure business for a starting quarterback in college football. So he's going to do what he has to do to make sure that he keeps those pockets laced, make sure that the NIL money keeps coming in, make sure that his face is still out there, because these kids understand if you're really good, it's 3 years and you're out. This is a business. This is your entry level into going to the NFL. And so I don't know. Maybe I'm reading
And by
too
that
much into
logic,
it.
and
Maybe
by that
I'm reading
logic,
too much
why would
into it.
anyone go to Texas? I mean, by that logic, then why would anybody worth their salt, want to go somewhere like that if they're looking at the dollar signs and all the pros. And I know he's looking at that because obviously he's got the talent to do it.
It's the resources, Seth.
Yep.
It's what the program can be. Right now, Texas is not that, if we're going matter of fact right now, but it's what Texas can be. Same thing with USC. It's what USC can be. Look, we're all around in the same area of age, right? Before social media, I keep telling young dudes this all the time. I don't think people realize how big of a meteor Reggie Bush was when he was in college. Like, he was as popular as a top 5 NFL player at the time he was in college.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush people were staying up. I know I was in high school, staying up Friday night, 10:30 on the East Coast to see them play Fresno.
Yeah.
Just to see 5. Okay? Like, there's a different, like, when they're right, and it looks like what Pete had it back in the day, you can't, we remember this. This is pre-social media.
He's going to kill that league, dude.
They were celebrities before NIL. Good Lord, if they had NIL today. Matt Leinart and Cushing and Reggie Bush and all those guys. Come on.
Well, Steve,
I mean, I think
small
it's a
correction.
different ball game if you get to the point where it's rolling like it should be.
Yeah. Hey, he's going to kill that league, man. He's going to kill it, and I don't like the way he did it. I don't like a coach leaving the blue blood for a blue blood. I think he had everything in place at OU. That's just my opinion. That's like, if Bob Stoops left at kind of the top, right? He's winning 10 to 12 games a season, and he goes, I'm gone, man. I'm going to LSU next month. I mean, it's just, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't sit right, because I thought he was at a perfect situation. But just hearing from you guys, it seems like he didn't have the backing of the admin there. hadn't talked to his coaches. That's
They
kind of
didn't
weird
even
too.
match the offer.
That's the thing right
Didn't
there.
even match
I'm
it?
glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because that's the thing right there where I almost feel like there was some dissension or something behind the scenes. And I mean, the diplomat that Josie is, he's not gonna, obviously air that dirty laundry if there was dirty laundry. But that's the kind of thing that's weird to me because obviously OU could have matched whatever offer USC was throwing out there. But for them to not, it almost just makes you wonder if there was something behind the scenes about like maybe like they were just thinking, well, yeah, then
Oh,
you
it's,
can
it's gonna come. It's
back,
gonna
back
come
stuff.
out.
It's gonna come out.
So
It's
it's
gonna
just
come out.
makes and I mean it would be news to me. I'm gonna lean to the side and say that there isn't any bad blood back there, but it just wouldn't surprise me at this point. Just hearing that little part of it alone where they didn't match the offer. I mean, it almost be like because I mean imagine if like UCLA softball was calling Patty Gasso and obviously OU's gonna match that offer. They're gonna be like, we're not gonna let Patty Gasso go. Like for anybody who knows any softball heads here. But like they're not gonna let the goat go. But like if there was something, if they didn't vibe with Patty Gasso's views on something or whatever, there was just some weird kind of just disconnect there. Then they would be like, all right, then you can go back home to California and whatever. But I mean, not that Lincoln Riley's from California, and that's another thing. I don't think OU needs to be hiring anybody that's originally from the Lone Star State. I don't know. I've always, and
Ooh,
just to be the
Seth,
head of
you're
like a
taking us
team,
into the next topic.
I know.
Okay,
Come
so
on, man.
let's
Y'all love Texas
I
players.
want to
You wanna-
start.
if
I
you
want to
wanna
start. Hey,
segue into it.
Everybody, calm down in here right now. All right. All right, calm down in here. Steven, I know where you're going with this. Head coaches, let me go ahead and write down my list. Come on. Hold on.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
prepared for this.
You're
I
making
was
my
waiting
job
for
so
this
easy.
right
Go
here.
ahead, Chris.
Excuse me.
Lord Chris.
Top four right now. Top four. Not 5, 4. Okay, top 4. Brett Venables,
Yeah, I like that one.
Lane Kiffin,
He ain't coming.
Cliff Kingsbury.
No.
No.
Hey, hold on. Last one.
This is his list.
Mario Cristobal.
I can see
So
that.
okay, so we have Venables
Yes.
is your top choice, right?
Okay. Actually, go 5. Dave Aranda.
He ain't leaving.
Where do you have? Well, you name.
Okay, I'll do it in
number
order.
one.
I'll redo it in order. Okay. My top 5 would be Brett Venables, Dave Aranda, if he was able to get Joe Brady, Lane Kiffin, Mario Cristobal, and then Cliff Kingsbury.
You want Coach Bro?
Huh?
You want Coach Bro?
Come on, Chris. Come
Coach
on.
Bro ain't leaving.
Hey,
Look, I need an offensive mind.
No,
I
okay.
need an offensive mind. If
Chris, let
he
me
can
tell you-
get Johnny Manziel and a Heisman, he
No.
can damn sure get Caleb a Heisman. Hell,
Let
he
me-
may be able to get Spencer the Heisman that he deserves.
Hey,
Don't
listen
play with
here.
me.
Coach Bro
Scared
ain't
money
leaving the
don't
league.
make money, Nick. Remember that.
Hey, listen, Chris. There's no way in hell not Lane Kiffin. There's no way in hell that Kingsbury is going to leave the NFL right now. His team is a top 3 team in the NFC, a top 4 team. They're going to the playoffs, all right? You don't have a guy who took a team that
and
was
he has
horrible.
an elite quarterback.
He has an elite quarterback, which is everything. You don't take a guy who took an Arizona Cardinals team that had the first pick of the draft because they were the worst team in the league. And 3 years later, he has these guys that are going to be in the playoffs this year and going to do some damage. He's not leaving the league. He don't want to. Let's be honest. Nobody, once you get to that level and you're dealing with grown men every day, and I don't got to make sure you're going to class. I don't want to call and have to recruit you every day. I don't have to do none of that stuff. I just got to make sure that you in practice. If you're not in practice, you're getting fined $25,000. Next man up. Right? He ain't leaving. But I do like the Venables. Venables is, dude, he would be a guy that I would be like, hell yeah. Like if I was an OU fan, it would be Venables. Huh?
Can I interrupt, please?
Yeah, Steven. Yeah.
I have 2 questions and this one is the first question is for Chris and Seth because I don't remember. What was the context in which Brett Venables left OU the first time?
Well, the defense. So this was probably like 2010 or 11, I believe, because I think Mike Stoops showed up at 2012, but showed back up.
Mhm.
So, I mean, honestly, if you look at the numbers and everything, and like total defense ranks and everything, those some of those last years, it they weren't too high. I don't even know if they were top 25. It maybe even not, top 15. Some of those. I think 2009 was like an outlier compared to a lot of those last few years for
Mhm.
Venables. So there was part of that, and yeah. So there was
Mhm.
just and there was pressure. There was pressure on Stoops to make some changes because they were they went to the national championship in '08,
Mhm.
and then '09 was a bad year. 10 they got a they got Big 12 title again, but they weren't world beaters or anything. And then 2011 they went to like the Insight Bowl or something. So it was another down year,
Oh, we got
and I
dogged by
think
Clemson.
yeah,
Oh,
and
was that
well,
Clemson game?
no, that was they beat Iowa that year actually,
Oh, they beat
but
Iowa that year.
but it was just like whatever, like nobody cared. So what I think it was there was just pressure maybe to make some changes, make a move, and that was kind of the more obvious move because at that point the offense was putting up 50 40 50 points a game, so it was like, oh well, OU's offense is the problem. And so but it wasn't an outright firing or anything. I think they
Well, it was
probably
More like they
kind of
in the
worked
parted
some
grand.
things
ways.
out.
I think in the grand scheme, that's the key word. It was more of a scheme thing. Everybody complained about his scheme being way too complicated for the
Yeah,
players to
yeah.
learn at that time here at OU. So everybody thought, okay, we'll bring back the cure to all of that, which was Mike Stoops, who got fired from Arizona. So you bring him back, everybody's excited about that. Goes back to what Seth was saying. Let's make the change. It's a hey, do it, do it. It's what everybody wants. It's the smartest thing to do at the time. And it's like we went from having a complicated scheme that worked to dumbing it down to the point where now you see our defense has been anemic for like X amount of many years, and now we're just now not. I wouldn't even say we have a pulse. We have a strong pulse. We don't have a true heartbeat right now, but we have a strong pulse right at currently. So it was more of a thing. I know for me personally, it was more of just a scheme thing because the scheme seemed to be too complicated. But hell, you see Clemson. It took it took a few years, but once they got those players and they got people to buy in,
Mhm.
I mean, hell, it's worked, right?
And
Three championships.
I'm sure Brent Venables has also evolved as a coach and learned more
Yeah,
football over the last 10 years as
Oh yeah.
well, right? Like
yeah.
that's why he's so well respected in the business today. Which leads me to my second question. Why isn't he a head coach?
He doesn't want to be a head coach.
So then why
He's
would he
on
be your
record
head
for
coach?
saying, huh?
If he doesn't want to be a head coach, then why would he be your head coach?
So here's the thing. So he's been on record saying that he doesn't want to have all the head coach responsibilities, all the rest of that stuff. But at the same time, there is history here. And the one man that links him back to OU, two people, honestly, because Stiglione, but you go to Bob Stoops. Comes from that Bob Stoops coaching pedigree. Okay. So it would not shock me if he even actually entertained the job. Because we all thought, I said, hey, Florida would be a great place for Venables. LSU would be a great place for Venables. But when you look at it, where is home? Home is here in Norman. So it makes perfect sense. He's going to leave for the perfect job. He's going to leave for a great job. And I feel like this would be the job that he would actually take. I really do.
All right. So Aranda and Joe Brady, to me, that
That's a good
I don't think we
combo.
need to go into explanation. I mean, I think Dave Aranda, we all like what he's done at Baylor in year 2 already. We know what Joe Brady. I think Joe Brady's probably in a weird space because Carolina's been weird
Yeah.
and Cam Newton was awful today.
He got benched
They
again.
are. I feel like Joe prefers to stay in the NFL, but he may not have a choice. I don't know what that whole situation is going to be
I
like.
mean, if Matt Rule, I don't think Matt Rule has a choice. And Matt Rule may be. I feel like those are outliers, but those may be two people that you look at for this job as well. Matt Rule would not be a bad hire at all.
Yeah. He's
He'd
good
be
hire, actually.
I don't think he would be a home run hire. He would be one of those people that people would literally be, fake. He's a fake green coach. He's that guy that you're just like, Oh, Matt Rule, thumbs up, let's go, hi, hooray! But he's not
I don't
that.
know.
I don't
think
know,
Matt Rule
man.
at OU would be a home run hire.
I
to
think he'd be
me.
a home run hire. You saw what he did with Baylor. He took Baylor from a 1-win
If you
team
put him with
to 11
OU's
wins.
resources and he's committed to staying, I think the thing with Matt Rule is that he's been, kind of all over the place and jumping back and forth between the NFL and college football.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he's probably like the NFL is tough, right? Because again, you don't have to deal with the kid stuff. You don't have to deal with recruiting. It's more straight up and down, and it's a different game that you're playing. So that just really depends on preference at that point and lifestyle, I would say. Cristobal. We've been touching on Cristobal roundabout. So Seth, are any of these names enticing to you? I feel like you just kind of meh at everybody, and then you were angry at Coach Bruh. So
no, yeah, the Coach Bro is he's definitely like I will stop being an OU fan if he gets named coach. I will stop being an OU fan if Cliff Kingsbury is the coach, and I say that just because I just know it's not going to happen. Also, so like because that ain't happen. But yeah, I mean I like Cristobal is like what he's doing and everything. But I mean honestly, I got my top 5. If you want to let me run through that, and Cristobal ain't on it, I'll tell you that much.
Seth, they want us to do this, bro. They want us to do this.
Yo, y'all are divided, bro.
They want
like
us to be. This is like Civil War, Captain America, Iron Man. They want this. They
Captain
want
America,
this,
y'all. Captain
They want it.
That man said Cristobal on his list.
This is truly Civil War. Listen. Nino and I have been down bad all season long, man. Since y'all made the legendary comeback in Dallas. So
horrible.
I mean, I'm just enjoying somebody else being miserable right now. That's just really all it is. I'm being open and honest about it. I know what my team sucks right now. We're trying to, like we said, we're comfortable saying the rebuilding word. We are here. We are embracing it. It's a part of the grieving process, guys. And you'll become familiar with this as well as you go through your trials and tribulations.
Hey.
Seth, please take me to your top 5 list.
All right. So I'll say Cristobal's probably in my top 10 if I were to extend it to the top 10, but he's definitely not in the top 5. So number 1, and I was looking through the comments earlier, and I saw some names that definitely were on my list. And number 1, though, Luke Fickell. I feel like what he's done, consistency, building that program, and then holding it to the level that he has built it. I mean, because it's not just this year. Last year they went. Didn't they go undefeated to the regular season, and then came within it was a pretty good game
they
against
lost
Georgia.
Field goal to Georgia.
That must be Georgia.
Yeah, and then they've had other good years under him. And I mean, in his days as a coordinator, obviously he speaks for itself as well. I mean, the guy just has a really proven track record, and that's honestly something I'm looking for a replacement. So he's at the top of the list. Next on my list, and he's a guy I've been touting for a while, even though he kind of, I don't know, he's got his flaws for sure. But Matt Campbell, I think I've seen him do it now with lesser talent at 2 different programs, 2 really bad, historically, not great programs, Toledo, Iowa State. But whatever he's teaching these kids, whatever he's whatever message he's pushing, he gets the most out of his guys. I mean, Brees Hall said it best last year, like whatever the quote was about 5-star culture and talent, whatever that
5-star players, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Time out, sir.
So
time out, Seth.
Yeah.
So, are you comfortable hiring a head coach that is open and honest about the Big 12 championship not being a part of his goals, and that he's comfortable with as long as I get the team is the best version of the team, then those are our goals, not the goals that you guys set, like championship.
It's because
he said
I'm
that.
okay with. Yeah, no, he definitely. Yeah, I remember. I saw that he said that, and it's because I don't buy that he only said that because his team was out of it. Like, they weren't. If they were undefeated at the time, and then whatever question was posed for him to say that, whatever it was, it would have been a totally different answer. Like obviously, like I
Seth,
think he tailored it. That was coach speak in my mind. Like so, I don't really buy into that
That's fair.
at all.
They're forgetting the fact that he brought back 98% of his team. That was never a goal just to win the Big 12 this year. Of course he's gonna say that. I give him an out on that. Of course he's gonna say that. You bring back the majority of your team who are all 36-year-old men playing against these 18 to 21-year-olds. You shouldn't have the Big 12 championship on your mind. Come on,
Chris. They had them super seniors. They had them 6-year COVID seniors.
Super seniors, excuse me. That's what you call them. Yeah.
They had them 6-year COVID seniors playing.
Yeah, the retirement home people out there playing, talking about their war stories back in.
All right. So
next
on my list is a guy. Next on my list, number 3 is a guy who I haven't seen really get mentioned at all. Dave Doeren at NC State. I mean, look at his track record. You go look at it if you're not familiar with what he's done. NC State. It sounds like a joke because historically they are a joke, but under Dave Doeren, y'all are laughing at me now. I'm gonna save this clip, but y'all laughing if he gets hired for OU.
Like a Dallas Cowboy fan on draft day. Who the hell is that?
I was laughing at Chris.
I'm laughing at Chris.
I was laughing at Chris.
Okay.
I'm laughing at Chris's reaction. That's it.
Okay.
It's all Chris. It's all Chris.
You don't know who he is. I mean, did anybody know who Lincoln Riley was whenever they pulled him out of East Carolina? Because I know I was hyping up Scott
We had
Frost.
Bob Stoops at the time. We didn't tell him to come and be the head coach right off the bat.
But I'm saying like just there. Dave
It doesn't matter what his name is, Seth. Go to your 5th person. God.
Oh God. All right. I'm just gonna throw it out there, but like, I like what he does, and what I'm looking for with him, and the next guy on the list is just a well coached. He puts a well coached team, and I mean, there's a lot to say about a guy who can do that. So that, and then number 4 is we've all said it. I think we all agree he's a great one. He's probably going to end up at a better job eventually. But Dave Aranda, speaks for itself. And then finally, another guy that I don't believe he has any head coaching experience, but if they're going to go this way, I think it's at least worth the phone call. But Marcus Freeman over at Notre Dame right now, D coordinator, who I think he's been pretty select because his name has started to heat up over the last couple of years. And I mean, I think he's been pretty select. I think he's waiting on the right opportunity because he's not going to just he's not a guy that I see looking to just take any head coaching job just for the sake of it. So, I mean, if he's waiting for the right opportunity, I don't know, how much more right it could get. Obviously, I don't know what his personal values are or anything as far as like coaching philosophy and whatnot and what he has available to him. But he's just a guy that looks like he's definitely very calculated in how he's approaching his career. And how he's building himself and his product. And so from what I've seen, just from what the defenses that he's fielded, he's definitely producing at a high level. So that's another guy that's kind of off radar. But I'm telling you, I think the more I think about it, Dave Doeren, he's climbing my list. So I know he's not a very popular pick. Dave Aranda.
Dave Aranda? Okay.
Yeah. And the only reason why he's even that low is just because he still like doesn't have very much head coaching experience, even though he obviously looks like he's probably going to end up being pretty consistently solid, if not great. So as time goes on, I'll probably lift him a little higher. But I mean, by then, though, he's going to have their guy. So hopefully.
Since Seth gave us that guy from NC State, let me give you a guy from left field. Is Jeff Banks looking for a head coaching job? Yeah, bring that circus to Norman. Yeah, Seth, you want that? Great special teams. I heard he's got defense too. Pole assassins, monkeys, all types of stuff. What? Come on, man. I do not want any of that NC State trash. You could have went with the coach from Wake Forest, and I would have been like, you know what?
Oh, Dave Clawson?
Okay. I'm surprised you know any of these guys' names. I literally, it's like playing NCAA football all over again. Wake Forest head coach, North Carolina head coach. That's what I call them. I don't call them by their real names because they're nobodies. Nobody wants them, Seth. this.
The only reason
this
why I
is-
didn't.
I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that, Seth. NC State?
I'm telling you, the
NC
Wolfpack.
State?
Wolfpack.
The same NC State has been terrible for the last like 5 years. NC State?
They beat Clemson this year.
NC State that is good right now because Clemson is down?
Hey, Chris. I just checked out their record over here, man. So from 2017 on, 9-4, 9-4, 4-8, 8-4,
COVID year.
9-3. Yeah, Chris. Hey, Seth might be onto something, bro. I know it's just NC State, and it is a weak conference.
Look, Seth. You know this because you
I had to Google it too.
Boomer Sooner right now. There is only one, and there's a standard here, and we always live up to that standard. And I'm trying to tell you that just doesn't cut it for me. Marcus Freeman, though, that's a name I could get behind. I really do.
Okay, Chris, I want to elaborate on Marcus Freeman real quick because that one, I like Marcus too, and I love what he did at Cincinnati. Obviously, it's carried over to Notre Dame. Are you comfortable? I mean, you did it before with Lincoln, where somebody didn't have, the previous experience and was able to kind of grow into the job. Are you comfortable doing that again with an outsider like a Marcus Freeman?
So I would be fine with that because I know that Marcus Freeman is going to do something that Grinch won't ever do, which is stop playing a stupid ass. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I know this is family friendly, but that stupid ass cover 3 that we play. That is just like, hey, I don't care. I mean, Marcus Freeman is going to tell you, press. We're going to press. We're going to play our best players. I don't care. I want the coach who's going to come there and say, best players are going to play, no matter if you're a freshman, a redshirt freshman, or a senior. Look, it's fine to have Pat Fields on the field, but when you have Pat Fields and Justin Broyles on the field at the same damn time, what do you think is going to happen? Kohler's big slow ass at Iowa State was running out routes against Broyles the entire time. I'm telling you, that had me on 10. I literally kicked something, almost broke my foot because I was like, why is he on the field? It doesn't make any sense. Grinch, I'm fine. Because the thing is, I need a coach who's going to come in there with what I just said. And then on the second thing, I need a coach who's going to clean house with everybody. The players who don't play, the players who are never going to play, and everybody on the coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball except for Jamar Cain. Jamar Cain cannot be touched. He cannot be touched. Matter of fact, if Lincoln did come back, I was going to write an open letter and say, I think Jamar Cain should be promoted to co-defensive coordinator. Not saying he should call plays, but he should be in the room, at least. But to answer your question directly, I'm sorry, I'm venting a little bit. But to answer your question directly, yes, I would be fine with that. I think that Marcus Freeman would do work on the defensive side of the ball. And to be honest with you, I've kind of dibbled and dabbled with it because my uncle and I talked about it a whole bunch. But I think that the Grinch experiment, I think it's run its course at OU. I think it's run its course at OU.
Time's up.
Because our linebackers have digressed. We're playing guys who we have so much talent on the side of on the defensive side of the ball that it's not playing. The fact that and everybody saw it last night. Seth, you saw it. Billy Bowman made plays out there. Billy Bowman was the reason why Woody got one of his picks.
Yep.
But you're sitting there and you're saying we're keeping a kid like Latrell McCutcheon, a kid like Joshua Eaton, a kid like Billy Bowman on the sideline for guys who we're saying, okay, they add chemistry. Outside, and that's defensive secondary, outside of Woody Washington, DTY, or as we call him, Trouble, and Keith Lawrence, those are the only three that should truly be on the field every single down. Other than that, everybody else should be on a rotation. Grinch pissed me off during the Kansas game and after the Kansas game when he refused to play Bowman and play Latrell McCutcheon. He cut them out of his rotation. Why? People are saying their confidence is shaky. How can their confidence be shaky when they're going out there executing the game plan that you gave them, which was let's play 15 yards off and give them out routes to get first downs every single play? I mean, every single third down. It made no sense. It's run its course. Speed D has been great, but for select players, because obviously we have problems. Really, I guess, when it comes to the bigger games during the season, the Iowa States, I guess the OSU's now, the Baylors, I guess. When it comes to those games, we always struggle with something, and it's apparently obvious. It's so glaringly obvious. And I think Seth will back me up on that.
Hey Chris, I gotta back you up on that. Well, not back you up on that one, but it just seems like this season, it seems like OU's defense has kept them in the games way more than their offense has. That's just my opinion. This is the guy that's on the outside looking in. Just looking at some of the games that were played this year. First game of the season. Well, okay, that was Tulane. That was a whole different story. But go down to, let's say, Nebraska. 23-16. I think that's on the offense. Even though OU won, but the offense was just not clicking. Yeah. West Virginia 16-13. OU versus Kansas State 37-31. OU to Texas 55-48. But then you kind of settle down. You win by 21 points against TCU. You hold Kansas to 23 points. You hold Tech to 21 points. You hold Baylor to 27 points. Your offense scored 14 points. Iowa State, you hold them to 21 points. And then, Oklahoma State 37-33. That's a rivalry game. You kind of throw things out the window there. But I think this year, just in my opinion, it's almost like Lincoln's side of the ball kind of held this team back a little bit. And it seems like the defense kept you guys in the games for those first maybe 6 or 7 games. What do you think about that?
I'll let Seth go on that one right there. I'm a little bit. I'm pretty lit.
Yeah,
right now.
I see what you're saying as far as like you look at the points total and stuff, and like obviously if you're holding teams to
13
low
points?
20s, low teens and low 20s in the Big 12, a Lincoln Riley offense should be blowing all those teams out. So yeah, it looks like the defense is what's been carrying. But I mean, you can really look at you kind of dissect the games more, beyond beyond the scoreboard, and you really look at like drives and stuff. I mean, it was almost every game, especially in the meat of that Big 12 schedule. I mean, it was they were giving up drives that were taking up half the quarter and 15 or so plays, and I mean, it was just they're just giving up. Third down was atrocious, and I think what really helped maybe the kind of the saving grace for the defense was that they were at least a little opportunistic, and they were kind of coming up with some timely turnovers or just stops or holding the team to a field goal in red zone or something, rarely, but they like that, and that would kind of ultimately save them a little bit. But they were putting themselves in some really tough positions, that the defensive side of the ball, like, constantly. And I mean that Kansas game, that was honestly one of their worst games of the season, and yeah, they held Kansas to whatever it was, 23, but to any other team that day, OU was going to give up 45 plus,
Right.
it was bad. And so, I mean, I'm not going to say that the defense was just god awful and it was like Mike Stoops 2018 level bad, because it wasn't. But yeah, I think at best I would have to put equal blame on this, looking at the season as a whole, on both sides of the ball. Like the offense was definitely lacking all season, but the defense was honestly not where it should have been in year 3 under the Alex Grinch. Like, this was definitely the worst we've seen his group since he's been in Norman.
So right now I'm putting y'all's list together because I want to address 2 more things before we jump off here. First off is, Texas being impacted by this. So us as Texas fans, and you guys, please go check out Nino's video that he put up there. Please subscribe to Nino's Corner on YouTube after you watch this video to get more insights. But from a broad perspective, recruiting being impacted, and the fact that Texas, we're not going to a bowl game. 2022 starts now, right? So we're more so looking for whatever staff revisions we want to make. With all these staffs getting blown up, I've been big on if there's any coaches that we want to upgrade within our coaching staff, let's go make it happen. And then obviously, poaching recruiting. My personal opinion is I'm looking at the Dallas-Fort Worth area where OU has had a lot of success over the last few years, pulled some fantastic players, and just within this North Texas region, they've been fantastic. I think that now opens up some areas of opportunity for Steve Sarkisian and whatever his staff looks like, to take advantage, at least until we know who the long-term successor will be for Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma. I do think, though, that this kind of messes up Sark a little bit in California because we've been building out a base out there with his ties and where he's from. So I do think Texas and some of you guys may, in the chat may nod your head at that and say, oh, that's not a big deal. Yeah. Our two best players, would you agree that it's probably Bijan and Xavier Worthy?
Yes, easily.
And are they not from where's Xavier Worthy from?
Fresno State. I mean, not Fresno State, but Fresno area.
Mm-hmm. And Bijan's West Coast,
West Coast
Arizona guy, right? So those are the people that typically flow
USC.
that way into the USC, Oregon neck of the woods. So having a Lincoln Riley out there with the credibility that he already brings to the table, a guy, what's that kid that you guys in y'all recruit California well as it was Malachi Nelson?
Nelson. What's the guy, Brown?
Raleigh Brown, Malachi Nelson. Hell, Lincoln. I could see Lincoln going back and getting Damani Jackson to go ahead.
Damani Jackson, I could see him getting easy
recommit overnight. Because that's the thing. That's a great point because now I disagree with the first half of it because OU's always going to be able to recruit Dallas, baby, or recruit anywhere in Texas, all over the state of Texas. Because remember,
it's okay.
Dallas is actually
was
Dallas,
right. Keep going, brother.
Remember that Dallas, Oklahoma. We own that. Okay, 6 years straight. Won't be this year, but we'll be back. Anyways, as I was saying though, you got Mario Cristobal out there is able to always go in there into Cali and pull some of their top talent.
That's because USC's been down.
That's because USC has been down. You're going to see a lot of those kids staying home. You're going to see actually, I would not be surprised if you see a lot of kids come home. If you start seeing, you already know, Lincoln is already on record as saying that, hey, me recruiting a full freshman class is a thing of the past. Like, I'm going to hit that transfer portal pretty hard. So you can see some of those kids, those top recruits, Bijan. You can see a lot of those top recruits possibly wanting to flip ship. I'll say it again, Bijan, just so Steven can hear me. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back.
It ain't happening. Bijan said he's staying.
I don't get your obsession with Bijan other than he's an amazing football player.
Let me tell you something.
More than committed to finishing his career at the University of Texas. Go ahead.
Granted, Lincoln, I feel some type of way about Lincoln Riley right now. Lincoln Riley about to have the whole West Coast on lock like Tupac back in 95. I'm just saying. All right. You heard it here.
He's going to do it, man. It is what it is. He's going to do it.
He's going
to lock the borders down. He's going to lock the borders down up there. And he's going to have, he's going to cherry pick who he wants. And, other teams in the Pac-12, he's going to let them have what he doesn't want. And it's going to be just like that. That city has been yearning for USC to be great again. It is what it is. They haven't been good for over a decade now. Very similar to Texas. It is what it is. And that city, that state is yearning for that program to be amazing. And now they got their guy. They put on some big boy pants today, and they went out and got their guy. And Lincoln's going to do some great things out there, man. I mean, he's going to do some great things. I know people might hate it, but he's going to go down there. He's going to lock the borders down. He is going to keep Cali kids in Cali, and he's going to keep the best Cali talent going to USC, which everybody knows is the premier school in the state of California.
I think that the season that you guys had, I don't think it's going to hurt your recruiting. I don't think it's going to hurt at all. To be honest with you, it could help recruiting because you know that these kids know that, hey, I got a chance to actually get on the field extremely early if I can make a difference. But we have to get the right hire. Do I think it's going? Do I think the right hire is going to be able to come in and save our recruiting class? Hell no. I mean, Seth. I mean, do you think the right hire can come in there and save half of our recruiting class at least?
No, but I think part of it, especially when you're looking at it this way, you got to include whoever comes in. You really want them to save what's still on the roster. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for, and whatever they do with the recruiting class, whether they save it, quote unquote, or not. I just want to see them, retain guys. Whoever the guys that the dudes on the team that were originally expected to be back in 2022. You want to see whoever comes in to make sure that that border is locked up.
Redmond, all of them, and the biggest thing is that I think we all can say. I think Spencer and Nick. This is why I disagree with you on your point about Caleb. I see Spencer going with Lincoln more than I see Caleb going with Lincoln. Could Lincoln? I mean, I don't really know. I mean, that's kind of the question right now: is what the hell do you do? Because the staple of your program, the guy, the kid that Kirk Herbstreit has said is going to be the face of college football in the next 2 to 3 years. You don't know where he's leaning towards right now. I mean, I'm sure that he's probably having hella calls right now with his dad, with his whole family, talking about what should I do? Should I stay here? Should I go? Or should I even go somewhere else?
Who, Caleb or
yeah. I mean, you're looking at Lincoln. Not Lincoln. I think Spencer. Spencer's already had his foot. I believe the place that he's going. I think he's going to Arizona State. I think he'd be a slam dunk. I think Herm Edwards would be perfect for him. He's an NFL guy, anyways. And even if Spencer was to go 8-4, go 9-3, something like that out there, he doesn't have to go and just wow out there. People know the talent. People want to see, can you rebuild your character? Can you play for a hard coach like that who's actually a player's coach, but an old school guy who's going to help rehabilitate your character? People want to see that more opposed to, hey, I want to see your arm strength. But I don't know, man. This is just bonkers, dude. Like, seriously, Lincoln leaving just, I mean, like,
hey, Chris,
this, man.
Hey, Chris, I don't see Spencer going with him. That's just, I don't.
Yeah.
And I say that because, and it's no hard feelings with Spencer and Lincoln, but I wouldn't follow the coach who basically told me to, sit down and color right now while this other kid plays. And it's all because of what Spencer did. Spencer didn't play up to what he's supposed to play to, right? So he had to bench him. So him seeing that, being at OU, which is a better program right now than what USC is right now, I just can't see him going to USC in worse situations than what he had at OU and thinking that he's going to do much better than what he did here, right? I think Caleb just fits that program so much better, especially with the chaos you guys had on the line. He was much better because he could scramble a little bit more. And I think that's going to be necessary up at USC for the first couple of years because it's going to take time to build, right? Like they just don't have like the players right now. But it is going to be very interesting because just like you guys said, Caleb's family moved down from the DC area down to Norman. A lot of, I won't even say that, but Lincoln going to Cali, he came there to play for Lincoln, but it all hinges on who OU picks as their next coach because OU has to pick somebody soon. This can't linger out because if they let this linger out, you're going to lose everybody. You might lose Caleb, right? But if you pick this coach quick enough to where everybody who is in this class knows who the coach is, everybody who's on the team knows who this guy is, and they can make their own assessment and either stay with the team or leave. If they let this drag out to January, February, it's not happening, guys. It's not happening. Caleb's gone. That's just my opinion. But hey, it's going to be interesting. But just to know that OU didn't extend an offer to Lincoln kind of lets me know that they've known that this is going to happen and that they already got who they want and it's already picked, signed, sealed, and delivered. And you guys are going to find out here in about 3 or 4 days. That's just my opinion.
So I just wanted to make sure I had the names on here that we discussed in terms of
You write them down.
the coaches, because I wanted to make sure we captured everybody's thoughts. Is that true? Malachi just decommitted on Twitter? I haven't been on Twitter. Is that, or are y'all just making stuff up?
Nick Saban was in Norman.
I mean, at this point, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he just decommitted.
Wow.
Damn.
Malachi did.
That's a big one. I mean, it would make all the sense in the world for him to
Cali
stay.
Sooners, man. No Cali Sooners, bro. They just dropped the video with the Calabasas, the 4 p.m. in Calabasas in the background. That was a joint. I was like, this is dope. What we doing?
Hey, they can really be in Calabasas all the time now.
Lincoln, you could mess up a wet dream, man. God damn, Lincoln. Like, what are we like? Literally, somebody pitched Seth, come over here to my house and slap me so I'll know that we not living in a different universe and a different reality, whatever the case may be, man. This is crazy, dude.
The house is burning while we're on the live.
Malachi just decommitted.
This is wild.
I'm not even, you know what? When I go to my office, every morning I drive through campus, I drive past the stadium, I look up, see all these bowls, these bowl wins, these championships, all the rest of this stuff, and I'm just like, man, this is beautiful. I'm driving a different way now. It's gonna take me 5 more minutes. It's gonna add 5 minutes to my drive, but I'm going a different way now. I don't need that negativity in my life. I don't need none of that. This is just.
I have one question before we jump off. If you guys have 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, I don't know how long this will take. With any time a coach leaves, there's at least 1 to 3, maybe 4 coaches on the staff that are coming with no matter what. Mm. Who are those coaches? Because I know you guys talked about how the staff reacted when the news got dropped, but we know when everything cools down, there may have been maybe a coach or two that are already in the know. I'm not talking about Lincoln's brother either. That doesn't count. I'm talking about the rest of the staff. Okay. Who's coming with? Who's going to LA? If you had to put money on it from that staff, is it DeMarco Murray? Like who's
Dennis Simmons has already been they've announced that he's leaving.
Who?
Wow.
Dennis Simmons, our wide receiver coach, which is another crazy move right there, which is, I mean,
wow.
Except to be real with you, that may be just as devastating. Granted, we all know Cale Gundy has been probably the best recruiter on that team to get a lot of those kids, the CDs and all of those. But other than that, I mean,
Jamar Cain maybe.
I'll pass this off to Seth. Jamar Cain can't leave, but I'm gonna pass this off to Seth. Seth, I hope Beatonbow goes too. Take Beatonbow with
That's
you.
The thing.
Offensive line coach.
That's offensive line coach, right?
I still, that's O-line coach. I honestly still got faith in Beatonbow in his O-line. This was definitely a down year, but I think people downplayed the loss of Creed Humphrey. That center position has just been in shambles all season. He was definitely the rock of that group last year. But the only guy that really I feel like Lincoln, I think the guy at least Lincoln would definitely want to bring with him, like definitely want. I don't know if he would, Jamar Cain, just because he's a West Coast kind of dude. Obviously, he's like a dynamite recruiter. That's like kind of what he does best, actually. He right now he's coaching the the edge rushers or the edge something like in that right, Chris? Yeah, he's like the edge, so like Nick Benito and stuff like that. But if you look at the guys, so I think he got hired maybe last year or 2 years ago. But I mean, the guys that he's gained commitments and he got to sign and stuff since in the short time he's been at OU. Have been some names, some guys that never would even considered OU until Jamar Cain was hired. So yeah, he's honestly like I said, he's like a Pac-12 area kind of guy himself too. So that's it. But as far as like anybody else, no one else really sticks out to me too much. I mean, I don't, especially I really don't see him, pulling DeMarco Murray or anything, running backs coach. Obviously, that dude's a Sooner, so I don't think he's going anywhere. And it'll be interesting to see what happens when OU does get a new head coach and what the staff, like how much, if that guy, if it is a guy with head coaching experience, how much, how many of his own guys he's going to bring and how many guys that's going to leave on the outside looking in for OU. But yeah, as far as Lincoln Riley and who he's going to take with him, like, yeah, he'll definitely probably bring somebody. But at this point, I'd say Jamar Cain, and then I guess Chris saying, Dennis Simmons is already out. So that's it.
And I see people in the chat saying Alex Grinch is going to go with him. There is no way that Alex Grinch is going to go with him. I think Alex Grinch is going to lead. He's probably going to land as a defensive coordinator somewhere. I think he
probably a free agent now.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him probably. Honestly, be real with you, I think you probably see those two have to go up against each other with him going to Washington State. I think that it would be the perfect time for him to go ahead and jump ship and go. So I could see that happening. I could see Grinch actually coaching through the game and then announcing somewhere before the game or after the game that, hey, I'm going to Washington State. So I can see that. One thing I want to point out to all you people in the chat that are saying OK State and Gundy ran Lincoln out of Norman. Are you smoking that, Reginald? Because you may need to be checked because you are delusional. Your coach is 3-16, 3-17 against OU in his entire career.
Oh no, I can't count that high.
I can't count that many losses. Come on, man. And one of them honestly was a fluke win with Tyreek Hill. I'm not even going to entertain that. This is their channel. This is cool.
Are you upset with Gundy or are you upset with the Big 12?
I'm upset with the Big 12. That was trash, and y'all know it. Boy is out there playing freeze tag with my son. He was out there with West like, hey, man, you need a hug? Come on over here. That was pass interference. I feel like the New Orleans Saints out here, man.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
No, you want to hear this. You want to hear this because everybody knows, and all my friends, my uncle, all of them say, Nick, I think Nick's a closet OU fan. I said, no, he's a realist. That's what he is. He knows. Steven, on the other hand, nah. Steven, that guy that tweet at you and say, Chris, you know what? Respectfully, now is not the time. I'm like, oh no, what better time? 6 games in a row. Don't bring that noise over here. But let me tell you something. The Big 12 screwed OU, and it screwed itself out of having a Big 12 representative in the college football playoff because OSU is not going to beat Baylor. Baylor has 2 losses. The committee's going to keep them out. It's done. Big 12 cancel each other out.
And yeah, you might end up with Cincinnati and Notre Dame if Bama loses. Like, I think you're right because, I mean, assuming Michigan – I think we're all assuming Michigan will handle their business against Iowa. Like Harbaugh doesn't screw that up, right?
Yeah. It'll be tight.
But
Michigan's going to handle business.
Yeah.
Like assuming they handle their business, I think the Georgia line came out with 6.5 with Bama. I mean, Bama at this point, that's what the way. I mean, I know it's the Iron Bowl. I know anything can happen, but it just that wasn't what. That's not a good look heading into the Georgia game.
No.
I think Cincinnati is right there. I think Notre Dame, I mean, because there's like nobody else at that point. Even with that against that, if depending on what happens in the Big 12 championship game, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, Oklahoma State definitely could be in if they win I think out. If Oklahoma State does it, they'll probably slide them ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah, they would.
They would. But if Baylor wins, then Notre Dame's in. Assuming everything else holds the way we just
Yeah,
talked
I mean,
about.
I think that one thing that happened the other night, last night at in that game, I hope people realize that hey, this OSU defense is not that good because outside of those penalties and everything, OU is moving the ball on them quite well. Granted, I get it, adjustments were made. We didn't score offensively in the second half. They were moving that rock against OSU. They scored more points than anybody has scored on them all year, at least with the points per game average. That defense, like I called it all year. They're a fraud. They're not good. Spencer Sanders had one play. It came down to the refs and then a muff punt, which now I'm kind of judging Lincoln harder than what I was after that game because now I'm just like, oh, it makes perfect sense. Take Marvin Mims, who has been your punt returner all season. Take him out. The last couple of weeks, you've been putting Gray in there, just kind of dibbling, dabbling with him, experimenting with that. In a big moment, in a big game, you put him back there to catch a punt. He muffs it. Boom. Game decided right there. We can't move the ball. Why would you put him back there? So you're kind of looking at Lincoln and saying, normally, if Lincoln was focused and Lincoln was all in, Seth, I hope you feel me on this. If Lincoln was all in, those big games right there, we win those with ease. We came out there against the West Virginias of the world, against the Texases of the world. We came out there even against Oklahoma States of the world, and we dominated those teams when the games mattered the most. We dropped 2 out of the last 3 games of the season, and I am just in a foreign place when it comes to this because 10-2 around OU, that might be nice around OSU. That might be nice around Baylor. Hell, that might be nice around Texas. But around here, championships. And I mean, I'm just truly at a loss for words with everything that's happened in the last 12, 15, 16 hours. It just does not make any sense that this is how our night, me and Seth Oliveris and Chris Griffin, our nights are going to end like this. We have to go home and deal with this. I'm going to have to go and tell my dog Lincoln Riley's not going to be the coach next year at Oklahoma. It's going to break his heart. He might run away. And how am I supposed to tell my dog that Lincoln Riley is not going to be the coach next year? My dog has benefited from Lincoln Riley because every time OU scores a touchdown, he gets a treat. Now I don't know who. If we get Mario Cristobal, we might only score 14 or 18 points a game next year. What am I supposed to do? I don't give him treats on field goals. I tell him to go sit the hell down. What are we doing?
He's gonna be in a diet.
Yeah, I gotta go face my family. I gotta face my family now. I gotta go tell them that Lincoln Riley's not gonna be the coach. And people,
how's your uncle feeling?
Huh? How's my uncle feeling? He doing stuff that I ain't never heard him even do. He got like my little baby cousin. He got there taking them on walks and stuff, on strolls. He calling me talking about, man, I was cleaning my car. What's going on? And I'm like, what? What you doing? He's like, something happened. I said, yeah, read your phone. He said, oh my God. He's shell-shocked right now. If I called my uncle up right now, I promise you he'd probably be crying. He in a room by himself right now, probably be crying.
Bro, do we need to do a wellness check? We might need to do a wellness check.
Hey, I live in Norman.
Brothers that way,
it's
man.
Quiet around Norman right now. This is quiet as I've seen it. And it's not because of what happened last night. We can live with the loss. That's fine. OSU fans, y'all have a great time. But with Lincoln leaving, come on, man. This is like KD. Seriously, the whole state of Norman is going crazy right now. Yeah, I said it. The whole
you mean
state
the town of Norman?
The great state of Norman. We have our own state up here. I don't know what Austin does, but we have our own state. But I'm just letting you know, it's crucial around here right now. Lincoln has really messed up my whole vibe tonight, man. I was like, you know what? I'm cool. I'm gonna eat this Chipotle. I'm gonna chill for the rest of the day. I'm gonna watch Kyler. I'm gonna watch. Baker give it to these Ravens tonight.
They down 13-3.
Exactly. None of that.
Baker's
Yeah,
horrible.
it's crazy because Chris, you and I, like, we were kind of talking. We were doing our normal back and forth thing on Twitter this morning about Bedlam. I think it was. I don't even remember. Like, it's just crazy how much has happened
Yeah.
in the last 12 hours that I don't even remember what we were going back and forth about. I think it was about Bedlam. And, we're doing, and Chris brought out his burner account on Twitter and all that. And, we're talking trash. And we started texting and we're like setting up the next podcast, just to go over kind of state of the union. We're obviously headed to the SEC, but after the season is wrapped, like all of our normal talking points, and then boom,
the bombshell,
the bombshell of all bombshells. But guys, we're at an hour 30. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I know it's definitely late on the East Coast for Nino,
Yeah.
and all of us here. But I appreciate you guys coming on after all this. Y'all definitely didn't run from the smoke. And I think that's why we're all friends here, because Nino and I are the same way. And we've had nothing but smoke to deal with and answer for and to every week.
Especially
so
Chris.
We're used to it at this point.
Chris be on our ass. Chris be on us. I be getting text messages. What's up with your boys?
Yeah. and today I just wanted to have a safe place, for you guys to just gather and get everything out collectively, as a group, because it is therapeutic to say things out loud and talk through things. And while you and Seth don't even agree with who should be the head coaches, or even, Seth's over here lobbying for Coach Dan Duran from
Dave
Duran, excuse me.
Duran,
yeah.
I'm like,
Put some respect on his name.
Dave Duran from NC State.
Yeah. Mike Jones, who? Who? What?
Lobbying for
Said Norman
Chris.
Liquor gonna need a restart.
Thank you guys for coming on, man. Any final?
Yeah,
I'll let everybody go. I'll go around the table one final time before we sign off. Actually, I'll let Nino go first, and then we'll let the OU guys close.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm just reading some comments. Somebody said that Chris's dog just decommitted on Twitter.
Chris Doggo hit the portal.
He hit the portal on the board.
He hit the portal.
That's fine. That's fine.
My only comment, man, is, you guys have been saying, like, just over the last couple of years, that the team hasn't looked the same, right? And maybe that's a product of Lincoln not having that head coaching experience, right? So, he was offensive coordinator, with Stoops, and he was kind of handed a damn Ferrari, right? And so, he drove pretty well the first year or two, and then like the last couple of years, it just hasn't been the same. So maybe OU dodged the bullet here. Who knows, right? Maybe he isn't the guy who can actually build a program all the way up. Maybe he has to have everything in place. We're going to see when he goes to USC, because that's in complete rebuild.
We're going to see.
That is in complete rebuild. And so, now it's time for OU to hire their coach. It's going to be a very interesting search here for the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple months. Who knows? But hey, it's what it is, man.
Shout out to Coach Stoops. He's coming in to hold him down through the bowl season and be that rock of stability that Bob Stoops has always been. Shout out to Coach Stoops. Go ahead, Seth.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to say this. We'll just go on record. Lincoln Riley, my man, you are soft. You are weak. I mean, you've got you just don't have what it takes, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was that mule shoe upbringing or that Texas Tech, education. I don't know what it was that made you soft. I don't know if it's just in your DNA. I don't know if it's from your parents, but I mean that you don't have what it takes. So, good luck in LA, I guess, where they don't take football seriously. That's all I got.
Hey, Chris. I mean, not Chris, Seth. One thing though. his brisket will be accepted in LA. They fine with that kind of brisket. I'm just gonna let you know. They fine with boiled meat over there. You know what I'm saying? They don't smoke the meat over there. I was there for 4 years. Believe me, I get it.
Seth dropped the mic on us.
He did.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have been saying it, and I definitely agree. I agree. Soft, all caps.
Oh God.
Oh,
all caps.
All caps.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Drop that Kobe gif. Soft.
Jesus.
Soft.
So
all
Seth,
caps, no cap.
So Seth, he's soft. So are you sure that's not just the emotional take from OU Nation right now? Because he made a smart move by avoiding the SEC and going to the direct path, or is that what makes him soft, or what's making him soft?
Well, that for me, that was like putting the period or the exclamation point on the sentence of him being soft, is where he's running from the SEC, because that part's true. There's no denying. Like, you look at the optics of this move, it's the only way you can interpret it is that he's running from the SEC. And I think I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was that I saw this. It was on Twitter, but it was a credible source, and they had like spoken with him, or there was some discussion from Lincoln Riley's mouth, but basically he wasn't. I don't think he was on board with the move of OU moving to the SEC. Like, it was on record. So if that's true, and then he's doing this, I mean, I think 2 + 2. He's running from the SEC, and I mean, if anything, he's going to the Pac-12, which is an even weaker conference than the Big 12. So really, he's just afraid. He got so used to being the big fish in the pond, and at this point I think it's like a survivalist move to do anything he can to retain that, because he knows OU's going to a bigger pond with a lot of sharks, and he obviously didn't want any part of that. And I mean, so it's go to the Pac-12, where you might have like one contender every 2 years, like one national level contender that you have to deal with. And then but honestly, my views of him being soft go back way before this. I mean, I wish I live streamed my game, like me watching the OU games for the last couple of years, because there's a lot of decisions that he makes in game that I deem soft, that I deem weak, and just he doesn't have the cojones like to go for it when he needs to, or he doesn't have that killer instinct. I mean, that's why he's had a fourth quarter problem pretty much his entire coaching career. He doesn't close. His teams are always letting other teams back in at the end, and I think at this point the common denominator is Lincoln Riley. He's had all these different quarterbacks. He's had all these the skill position's been out of this world for the most part. You got guys like CeeDee Lamb, Marquise Brown, Joe Mixon, just like you name it. Guys that are just killing it at the next level, but yet for whatever reason you're always squandering leads at the end of the games. And I mean, and you can't even blame it on the defense at this point, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with the head coach. He's not making the moves. I don't know if he's not making the moves because he doesn't know what the moves are to make, or if he's just too afraid to let his voice be known and to take a stand. But if that's the case, then you're not head coach material, at least not at OU. OU needs a guy that, I mean, you think of Bob Stoops. He's not a soft guy. I mean, the dude from Youngstown, Ohio, like, they don't make soft people there. You think of a Barry Switzer, that guy, like, he's funny and he's jolly, but he'll also kick you in your behind. Back in when he was ruling the day in the Big 8. I mean, Bud Wilkinson, the Oklahoma drill, like, speaks for itself. Like, that's the hardest drill out there in sports. They've outlawed it in a lot of places. It's so hard. So I just think Lincoln Riley, I think his middle name is Finesse. He doesn't have what it takes. So, at this point, I'm tired of it. I want a head coach that kind of scares me a little bit physically.
Just go get in on it.
Like, I don't want to. like if I bumped
Let's
into
go
him,
get Edo, man.
I would love to hear Edo
Like,
just say Boomer sooner. Boomer
like
sooner.
if I bumped into him on the, like if I bumped into him on the sidewalk walking by, I want to be a little like, oh, my bad. If I bumped into Lincoln Riley, I wouldn't even look twice. I'd be like, well, who was that little like fragile, weak thing that I just bumped into? Like, so. I mean, I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of Lincoln Riley, the man.
Steph, let me jump in here real quick. Let me go ahead and end this, okay? Hold on. Put this on real quick.
Thank you for the super chat, Luke.
Impertinent part. Leaving OU was probably the most difficult decision of my life. This was a personal decision solely based on my willingness to take on a new challenge. Get the hell out of here, Lincoln. I'm not dealing with that. All right? That's bullshit. Excuse my language. That's complete and utter bullcrap, Lincoln. Come on. I'm not going to call you soft. All right? I'm not going to call you soft. But if I saw you right now, I'm telling you, Seth, Steven, and Nick would have to hold me down to keep me off of you. But I promise you, if I saw you right now, I'd still spit in your face. I'm not playing with you, Lincoln. This is personal. You would just ruin our entire freaking program. We are now Texas. We are now Texas.
No.
We are now Texas.
Step away from the ledge, Chris.
We are now Texas. That's who we are. We are going to be horse poo next year. 2023. You led us into look. You were Moses at first. Now you. What did they say in Super Bad? You freaking do this. Why would you do this to us, Lincoln? Why would you do this? I can't. I'm just like what? What else is gonna happen today? What else is gonna happen today?
You got 7 decommits.
Lincoln. You can't never come back to Oklahoma. You can't unless they schedule a game. You can. What are we doing? This was not supposed to be that type of day. I just look. In all seriousness, all jokes aside, the move was it's just crazy, man. Like, where does this program go now? I know everybody's doing the whole moral support and consolation thing, which they're saying, okay, well, OU has been here and OU will be good and all this and stuff like that. RIP, rest in peace. But the John Blake years, we all know exactly what those were like. The last few years before Bob Stoops was able to get Lincoln Riley, we know what those years were like. Hi, Trevor Knight. How are you doing? I don't want to be Texas. I don't want to be TCU. I don't want to be Baylor. I damn sure don't want to be OK State. I don't want to be mediocre, but top of the line mediocre. If I want to get mediocre, I will go to Crest and buy me an economy chuck steak, and I will cook that on a George Foreman. Well done. And I will chew that all night. But my football team, no, we don't deserve this. We're Texas now. We're the Dallas Cowboys. That's who we are. Look what you did. Rethink this if you can. There's still time to get out of this. Billy Donovan did it with the Orlando Magic. He stepped in, he stepped right back. Lincoln, you can do it. It's not too late. Look what you're doing to Seth. Seth don't act like this. Seth never acts like this. Seth is always
never acts like this.
No, gentle
smile on
giant.
his face. Hey, what's up, Chris? What's up, Chad? At the gym. Seth won't even come to the gym anymore. He just texted me and said, I'm not coming to the gym this week. I'm devastated. Like, I don't mean to keep us long, but I'm just saying, this is crazy, man. Like, Lincoln, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what? This is the last thing I'll say, and I'll stop. Lincoln, let me tell you how much I care about you. I was trying to catch up on Yellowstone, and I stopped what I was doing. I stopped that episode of Yellowstone right when it was getting really good to pay attention to this, just to make sure that it was fabricated. But it wasn't. You ruined my day. Okay? You ruined my whole vibe. I was on a Yellowstone vibe hard. Last night, I told everybody it was my birthday. They threw me a surprise birthday party. It was cool. It was genius. Everything was cool. I said, "It's my birthday present right here." Lincoln got it served up for me. You didn't deliver. And then today to throw this on me, it's going to take me some time. The 2018, going back to the 2018 college football playoff game against Georgia, it took me months. It took me months to get back into the groove of things. I had to break up with OU. Being an OU fan is like dating a girl that you know is bad for your health, but you keep going back to her because you think, what if I give her another chance? Will she finally get it right? But you know she's going to do you wrong because you see her phone and you say, look, nobody's snap scores that high. How are you getting all these likes? You have 86 unread messages, and I know that's not from your mama or your daddy. What are you doing? I give my heart to this program, and then you just rip it out. Thanks, Lincoln. And that's all I got to say. I'm done.
She bad for your health, man.
Bad for your health.
I'm done.
I have one. My only parting shot is this: would y'all feel any differently if he had left for LSU versus USC?
Hell yes.
No.
So you would feel different if it was same thing. Story breaks. Lincoln's going to LSU. You feel better about it than the USC thing coming out of left field.
No. Because what we had here for Lincoln, with Lincoln, just doesn't make any sense. How do you go from a national championship contender, yes, a contender, to now going to the bottom of the barrel in both conferences? Because believe it or not, LSU has all this talent. USC has talent. I mean,
USC has talent.
Both teams have talent. But you could go to a program that has not been good in years under Clay Helton, or you could go to another program that you know is going to have hella infractions on it. I mean, come on, man. Does it make sense? It makes no sense at all. I'm not going to a crybaby program like LSU. LSU is about as delusional as Texas A&M is. Come on, man. Damn.
Yeah, I'd feel the same way about Lincoln. I think for me, it's the timing and then also what's been said. I mean, he literally said post game last night after Bedlam. I'm not quoting him, but he said, "No, I'm not going to LSU." So you can
but he didn't say he wasn't staying at Oklahoma. That should have been telling.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. It's like he said that knowing full well what he was saying and what he was like he knew it, and so it's just like that's like a snake move, in my opinion.
It is because, like I said,
he can follow the Kevin Durant route.
Like I said with my girlfriend analogy, Lincoln, are you texting other teams? No, I'm not texting anybody. Okay, I believe you. Lincoln, can I see your phone? No, I didn't say all that. Now I didn't say that.
He didn't say he was texting. He didn't say that they weren't texting him though.
He was actually in bed with him the whole time. He's not telling anybody. I mean, come on, man. Somebody pulled back the covers and it just came out. He even talking about, hey, man, I think I saw Lincoln with some other team. Who are you talking about? I think it was USC. You lying. Send me a picture.
Man, thank y'all for coming on, man. This was a banger of an episode, regardless of what side you're on. Just to at least, even if you're not a fan of any of these teams and you just got some entertainment, good for you, guys. First and foremost, hit the like button. Still over 548 in here. Hit the like button. Show us some love. Helps us grow the platform. Helps us grow the channel so that more people, more like-minded college football fans can find us. Please subscribe to Nino's Corner on YouTube. Like I said, if you're subscribed to me, you need to be subscribed to Nino. He's talking to kids. He's got Nino's Corner. Was it NinoCornerSports.com? What's the website? Nino'sCornerSports.com?
Yep, that's it.
So everything, all the cool analytics he's doing over there, breakdowns. He's got big plans this offseason, growing the platform. And then Chris and Seth, Horns Down Podcast. Guys, go check them out on all, any podcast platform. You guys get your whether it's Apple, Spotify, what have you. They're everywhere. And you guys will see us all sparring on Twitter, the four of us. So appreciate everybody that is come on, and this was fun to do it with you guys. So I'm glad y'all were able to come on for the emergency, even though it's tough times. So
Texas still sucks. At the end of the day, they're 5-7. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, whatever makes you sleep better, sir.
Oh, you still suck.
I hope this was
I can't talk about Lincoln Riley briskets no more, man. It's messed up, man. Like talking about his soupy ass brisket.
I hope it was entertaining for everybody watching, because I honestly think I feel worse now than I did when I jumped on this. So I feel like I just reopened it wasn't even a wound. It was like a bruise, and then I just cut into it. And now I'm fired up. Now I'm not going to get any sleep, just like Chris.
Yeah, I could see you processing, Seth, because you came out with your normal tone, and then as I feel like the news is so fresh, and you're seeing players decommit while you're on air.
While you're on the air.
I mean, goodness gracious. That's
funny.
When softball. When
that's
softball
brutal,
season?
bro.
I need soft.
Seth brought that. Softball. You soft.
Man.
Seth brought the Kobe gift.
Also, please, our sponsor, BUSR.com, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective, BUSR.com/Fanatic. We have some specials and promos going on there right now. Sports 100 FP bonus. Hit that. They match 100% of all deposits, all free play. I'm sure that they'll have some prop bets on who's going to be the next coach, all those things, but also Heisman bets and national champions, all that stuff. So check out BUSR.com/Fanatic. All right. For our Hook'em audience, horns always up. Chris and Seth, thanks for coming on. We appreciate y'all. Over and out.